if there's let's say there's 5 actual paths that a team, not just the Twins, but any team can take. You can aggressively buy. You can lightly buy. You can stand pat. You can lightly sell, and you can aggressively sell. That's simplistic. To me, the 2 least likely paths for the Twins are to aggressively buy is by far the least likely, of course, and lightly buy is by far the second least likely to me. And so what you're describing,
I would put it as aggressively sell would be the second least likely, but I understand the sentiment. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I guess that's semantic too. I mean, we can argue what would it mean to aggressively sell, like in your mind, which is a scary place to be. That's going to be
anything more than Duran and Jax is aggressively selling.
Well, okay, what I was about to ask.
And you were going to say, are Duran and Jax aggressively selling? Yes. That's the borderline, right? That's the delineator.
I would view that as aggressively selling. Okay. Even one of the because I'm assuming if you're at the point where you're trading even one of Jax or Duran, you're also trading as many of the impending free agents as you can.
Yes, right.
And so I guess that cumulative effect to me would qualify as aggressively selling, because those are just really good pitchers. Like right. Those are, I can tell you, we've been updating. I do it with Eno Saris, Chad Jennings, and Tim Britton at The Athletic every 3 weeks now. And we'll do another one right before the trade deadline. We've been doing a trade deadline big board for The Athletic. And we update it based on the ebbs and flows of who looks like a buyer, who looks like a seller, and then who are there players that become available or maybe, kind of get pulled off the market because the team's on a good run, like the Red Sox or something like that right now. And I can tell you that both Duran and Jax were in the top 10 of the big board that we released, I think it was 2 days ago. And so they might drop down a little bit in 2 weeks when more teams emerge as sellers, because there'll be a little bit more, a few more stars to add to that top of that list. But I guess what I'm saying is there aren't going to be a whole lot of relievers and maybe even just players in general traded who are both better than and under more team control than Duran and Jax, who are both all-star caliber relievers and have 2 additional years of team control beyond this current season. So basically 2.5 seasons of team control. There just aren't going to be a lot of guys who are more valuable than that. And so in my mind, if even one of those guys gets traded and like a Willie Castro, Harrison Bader, Danny Coulomb, let's say, something like that, I do think that would probably fit under aggressive selling. And I guess those are the type of moves, Jax, Duran, maybe a hitter like a Trevor Larnach or something like that. Somebody's got a couple more years of team control. When I start to see scouts in town, that's where my mind goes when I'm like, they could probably use it. This team that's just about definitely bound for the playoffs, right? They could use a late inning reliever. Yeah. They could use another lefty bat, something like that.
Well, that is countering my own point just 5 minutes ago. In terms of trading away players, Duran or Jax, I could see them trading away a player and then also acquiring somebody as well. Like those two, there is enough depth in that bullpen right now that is an area where I think if they were just sort of rearranging things, like, okay, we're going to trade away some pitching, but we're going to get some hitting back because that's where we're really suffering. And that means, trading away Duran for some prospects, but then trading away some prospects for a hitter. I could see that happening. That would be the way to do the Tampa Cleveland 2-step that we're talking about.
Yeah. I also just think in general, the bullpen, and the Twins are not alone in this stance. I probably personally would kind of take this stance too, is that the bullpen's different. Relievers are different.
Yeah.
It's much less, I don't know. I think they would view it as much less risky or much less sort of team altering.
Yes.
To trade a reliever who has 2.5 seasons left than trade Joe Ryan or something like that who has 2.5 seasons left, or even a key position player who has 2.5 seasons left, because they made Griffin Jax a great reliever as is. Right.
Yes.
And
we've seen it over and over in terms of what they will invest in and where they will take their chances. They will take their chances on the bullpen and they will invest in the other.
Correct.
Areas.
I think it works on both ends. One of which is, yes, we're trading away 2.5 years of a reliever, but we know that most relievers aren't great for 5 years. Right. And these guys have already been great for 3 or 4 years. So maybe they burn bright and fade away before, their team control expires. But then beyond that, I mean, what is their bullpen right now? Duran was a former very good starter who had elbow problems and moved to the bullpen. Jax was a formerly not even really a prospect starter who was terrible in the majors as starter, got moved to the bullpen at like age 26 and immediately was a good reliever. Brock Stewart was a scrap heap pickup who was coming back from Tommy John surgery and had been a failed starter and injured. And then Louis Varland had struggled for 3 years with them as a starter, and they moved him to the bullpen, and he's immediately a good reliever. So I think there's a sense of
Danny Coulomb, by the way, similar. Right. The guy who was on the fringe of a major league roster for years, and then ended up breaking through with Baltimore, returning to the Twins. Right?
And it's a similar story. You want to go Glenn Perkins or Taylor Rogers. I mean, it's a similar story. More often than anything else, great relievers are made, not born, and that. I'm not. That should not, in my mind, take away from Jax and Duran's value or their impact that they have made and could make if they stay with the Twins. But I just think it's different than trading away like a middle of the order hitter, because with relievers, I truly think, and we can debate how effective they've been at doing this, but I truly think the Twins are among many teams, and certainly the Guardians and the Rays, who we just mentioned,
right.
They do this every year, basically. They count on doing this every year, which is we're going to uncover 2 more good relievers. And sometimes that makes or breaks the season. But that's why I kind of look at Jax and Duran and say, are they going to turn down massive offers for these guys?
Right.
If they're at 20% playoff odds on July 28th or something like that, I don't know. I mean, it would have to take a lot.
Yeah.
And I know there are Twins fans who have reacted to us discussing this sort of stuff over the last several weeks, or me writing it or whatever, and they're like, why would they trade Duran or Jax? Why would they, you have 2 more years? I get it. Like, I'm not saying they should,
right,
or that they should be desperate to move them, certainly. But if you're about to miss the playoffs for the 4th time in 5 years, and somebody comes knocking on your door with a big offer for a relief pitcher,
right, that happens at the trade deadline. Relief pitchers get oversold at the trade deadline. Teams who need a relief pitcher understand that they will pay. They're going to have to pay extra at the trade deadline for that. And welcome to the end of this video. There's lots more. For another, just click on one of these boxes,
or click on this circle in the middle to subscribe to all of our Twins Talk.
Thank you.
Gleeman